Imagine a world where unhappiness isn't just, a mood, but actually a problem you could solve, like properly solve.
Yeah, like a malady with a definite cure.
Exactly. And what if there was someone who not only really got the root causes of why people are discontent, but could actually guarantee a fix?
It sounds a bit like science fiction, doesn't it? But our deep dive today is into someone who sort of created that reality, Mr. Parker Pyne.
That's the one. So after 35 years, think about that 35 years just compiling government statistics.
Dry stuff.
Very. He decides to completely pivot. He takes this unique understanding of people he's developed and starts this really unusual business selling happiness.
And his advert was so simple, almost cryptic. Just, are you happy? If not, consult Mr. Parker Pyne.
That's it. Became his whole calling card.
So what we're doing today is basically pulling back the curtain on some of his most incredible cases from his files.
Yeah, we're going to unpack how he used these really elaborate setups.
Orchestrations, really.
Right. Orchestrations, clever deceptions, and this kind of surprising cast of characters he had working for him.
And he always delivered on his promise.
But the methods, well, they were often pretty unconventional, sometimes maybe morally gray.
Definitely bending the rules sometimes. But the results for his clients were consistently profound.
Hmm.
You can't argue with that.
Yeah.
And for you listening, what's fascinating here is how a reality he constructed could be way more powerful than, the literal truth.
We'll see how real happiness often pops up in the most unexpected ways, usually when people confront what they thought they wanted versus what they genuinely needed deep down.
Exactly. So let's get into it. Let's unpack Parker Pyne. Okay, so let's start with some of those really personal pains he tackled. First up, Mrs. Packington. She's known as the middle-aged wife in the files.
Right, and her problem was, well, pretty classic. She felt totally neglected, invisible almost.
And jealous, right. Her husband, George, was having an affair with a young typist. Yeah, and she was just stuck in this rut. Convinced George just saw her as narrow-minded and suspicious. Her words.
So Pine's cure, it wasn't just talking, was it?
Oh, not at all. Anything but conventional. I mean, yeah, it started with the externals, a beauty specialist, a new wardrobe.
The makeover bit.
The makeover bit, exactly. But the really interesting part, the Pyne touch, was introducing her to this charming rogue type. A lounge lizard.
A lounge lizard, okay.
Yeah, a guy named Claude Luttrell, one of Pine's operatives, of course. Smooth, sophisticated.
And the plan was?
Get Mrs. Packington out there. Dancing, dining, being seen with this attractive guy, Claude.
Ah, okay. Psychological warfare, basically.
You could say that.
Mm-hmm.
And predictably, what happens? George sees this and bam, suddenly he's jealous and guilty.
His whole perception of her just flips.
Completely. She's not narrow-minded anymore. Now he's thinking about reigniting the spark. He even suggests a trip to the Riviera together.
Wow. That's quite a turnaround. But there was more to it with Claude, wasn't there?
Yeah, this is a fascinating little twist. Claude Luttrell, who was just supposed to be playing a part, actually starts feeling bad about it.
Really? The hired hand.
Mm-hmm. He said his conscience troubled him over the rotten game. So he actually confesses the whole setup to Mrs. Packington, tells her he was hired.
No way. Did that ruin everything?
You'd think so, but no. He decides he's done with his despicable gigolo life, as he calls it, and as a sign of his, newfound integrity, he gives her his mother's ring.
Wow. So the fake situation actually caused real change in him, too.
Exactly. It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? Can a completely fabricated situation spark genuine emotion, genuine change? Not just for the client, but for the people involved in the act.
Yeah. The power of perception. Okay, so from a wife wanting her husband back, let's flip it. The discontented husband, Reginald Wade.
Reggie.
Right.
His problem was his wife, Iris, wanted out. She found him. Dull, uninteresting.
Even though he still loved her?
Yeah, he was devoted, but she just wasn't feeling it anymore. He felt totally helpless.
So what's Pine's play this time? Another lounge lizard?
Not quite. For Reggie, he brought out the big guns. Madeline DeSera, described as his most seductive vamp.
A vamp. Okay, so another actress on his team.
A very convincing one. Her job was to pretend to be Reggie's very alluring friend.
Let me guess. Make Iris jealous.
Bingo. Madeline's mission was to make Reggie look incredibly desirable, like suddenly the most fascinating man in the room.
How did she do that?
Oh, she laid it on thick, flirted outrageously with him in public, praised his terrible golf game,
Okay.
even staged a very public, very passionate kiss. And she dropped these little provocative comments to Iris, like, oh, modern ideas of marriage and divorce are so sensible, don't you think? Talking about cutting your losses.
Ooh, twisting the knife.
Totally.
Yeah.
And the effect on Iris.
Instant jealousy.
Fierce jealousy. Overnight, her indifference just vanished, replaced by this desperate need to win him back. She literally runs after him, confessing she adores him.
Incredible. But was it easy for Madeline? Making Reggie seem like Casanova?
Apparently not. That's the behind-the-scenes bit. Madeline later told Pyne it was uphill work because Reggie, bless him, was totally obsessed by his wife. He wasn't playing along easily.
Right. It shows how good these operatives were. They had to really sell it.
Exactly. Skilled actors making the fiction feel real. So again, it hammers home that the perception of desirability, even if it's completely manufactured, can totally change a relationship's dynamic. How much is real? How much is just seeing what you think others see?
Okay, so Pyne can mend broken hearts, or at least reshape perceptions of them. But what about that deeper stuff, like finding meaning, adventure?
Yeah, some people weren't unhappy because of love, but because of, well, boredom, lack of purpose. Which brings us to the discontented soldier, Major Wilbraham.
Right, the retired empire builder? Is that like a colonial administrator?
Yeah, someone who spent his life in, say, East Africa, building things, running things. Used to excitement, danger probably. Now he's back in England, bored out of his skull.
Just craving some action.
Desperately. So Pyne thinks, okay, if you want adventure, I'll give you adventure. A completely manufactured one, of course.
How did he stage this one?
He set it up so the Major would rescue a damsel in distress, Frida Clegg.
Another operative.
Yep. Chosen specifically for her look, fair-haired, blue-eyed, slightly anemic. Looked like she needed rescuing.
Okay. Damsel acquired. Then what?
Then they happened to discover a secret map, written in Swahili, apparently, detailing a hidden stash of ivory.
Wow, okay. Very Indiana Jones.
Totally. And it didn't stop there. The adventure escalated. They get kidnapped by supposed Bolshevist agents.
More Pyne's guys in costumes.
You got it. They end up trapped in a flooding cellar.
Classic.
And Major Wilbraham naturally, heroically escapes with Frida. It was pure theater.
So he got his excitement, but what was the actual outcome for him? Did he just go back to being bored?
Well, this is where it gets really interesting. In the middle of all this fake danger and escape, the Major finds the real treasure, love. He falls for Frida. He actually proposes to her while they're making their escape.
No way. During the fake kidnapping?
Yep. And they plan their honeymoon, a trip to East Africa to actually go look for the non-existent ivory cache.
That's amazing. Did Pyne charge him for this whole thing?
Funny story there. Pyne actually tried to refund the fee. Because technically the Major hadn't followed the initial instructions perfectly, something about seeing a Mr. Jones.
Huh.
But the Major refused the refund, said the £50 was the best money he'd ever spent. He got exactly what he needed.
So the point here is, an orchestrated fantasy, a complete fake, can lead to a genuinely happy reality. Like real love, real fulfillment.
It seems so. It definitely makes you question what makes an experience truly meaningful. Is it the objective reality or the feeling it creates?
Okay, that's quite profound. Now, what about someone with like much smaller ambitions and a much smaller budget? Mr. Roberts, the city clerk.
Ugh, Mr. Roberts, yes. A lovely case. A humble, quiet guy, nearly 50. Pretty content, generally, but had this little spark inside, this wistful suburban soul.
Just wanted a bit more.
Yeah, longed to get out of the rut, just for like 10 minutes of glory, as he put it. But the real construct, he could only afford £5, a tiny fee.
£5? What could Pyne possibly do for £5?
You'd be amazed. Pyne gave him the adventure of a lifetime. Scaled down, maybe, but still. Epic for Mr. Roberts.
Yeah.
He sent him on a secret mission to Geneva, carrying supposedly the crown jewels of Russia.
Get out for £5.
Yep. And he had to evade those pesky Bolshevist agents again.
Pyne seemed to have a thing about Bolshevists.
They were reliable villains, I suppose. So Roberts has this thrilling train journey. Meets a very glamorous Grand Duchess Olga.
Let me guess. Madeleine de Serres.
In disguise. Excellent deduction. She's in full femme fatale mode. He helps her hide the jewels in her stockings, no less.
Very direct.
He bravely outwits the main villain, Vasilyevich. He even gets a dramatic kiss from the Grand Duchess as a thank you.
This is incredible. What happened when he got back?
He returned home, a changed man, no longer wistful. He had his memories, he had a fake medal Pyne gave him, And get this, a check for £50 from Pyne.
Pyne paid him.
Yes. Pyne admitted later he'd sort of embroidered the whole story quite a bit and was happy to lose money on it. Called Roberts a deserving case. He just genuinely wanted the guy to enjoy himself.
Wow. That's almost moving. The sheer generosity of that cure.
It really is. It makes you ask, what's the real value of an experience? Is it about whether it really happened, or is it about the impact it has on your spirit? For Mr. Roberts, it was life-changing.
It really makes you think. Okay, but what about the other extreme? Someone who has literally everything money can buy, but is still miserable. Mrs. Abner Reimer, the rich woman.
Ah, yes. The ultimate challenge for Pyne, perhaps.
Yeah.
Immensely wealthy widow. Had everything, materially speaking. But utterly bored, friendless, sick of life. Couldn't find any purpose at all.
And she just wanted what? To know how to spend her money.
Basically, yeah, had to spend her money and get some good out of it. She was lost.
So what was Pyne's plan for her? This sounds like his most audacious one yet.
It absolutely was his coup, as it's sometimes called. He went for something really radical. Immersion therapy. Extreme immersion therapy.
Oh, extreme.
He had her drugged. Gently, apparently. With Indian hemp cannabis, basically.
Okay. And then?
She wakes up, believing she's someone else entirely. Hannah Morehouse, a servant girl living on a remote farm in Cornwall.
He gave her amnesia and a new identity.
Pretty much. There was even a fake newspaper planted nearby detailing the mental case of Mrs. Abner Reimer who had disappeared, subtly reinforcing her new reality.
That's incredible. How long did this last?
Nearly a year. For almost 12 months, Mrs. Reimer lived as Hannah Morehouse. A simple, hard-working life. Cooking, cleaning, farm chores.
And did it work? Did she find purpose?
She did. She found purpose in the work. She experienced genuine care from the farm family, who were also, presumably, part of Pyne's setup.
Right.
She made real connections. And she even fell in love with a farmhand, Joe Welsh.
Wow. So what happened? Did Pyne just leave her there?
No. After almost a year, Pyne reappeared. He gently revealed the entire elaborate deception. The drugging, the fake identity, everything.
How did she react? Was she furious?
You'd expect her to be. But he just asked her simply, "Are you happy?" And she admitted she hadn't been this happy since her husband died years ago.
So she chose the simple life.
She did. She chose to marry Joe, stay on the farm, live modestly. And the most remarkable part,
What?
her vast fortune, she gave it all away to hospitals. She said money would just ruin Joe, and she wasn't going to let it come between her and her newfound happiness.
That is absolutely staggering, giving it all away.
It truly is. It suggests that true happiness can sometimes be engineered, even through these extreme methods. By stripping away all the excess, she rediscovered something essential, something meaningful.
It really forces you to confront what truly defines worth in a life, doesn't it? Is it money or something else entirely?
So we've seen love and purpose, but Pyne also got involved in cases with, well, more tangled webs, deceit, secrets, even crime.
Right, things get a bit darker here. Let's start with the case of the distressed lady. She called herself Daphne St. John. What was her issue?
Her problem was theft. She'd stolen a valuable diamond ring from a friend, Lady Dortheimer, and replaced it with a convincing fake, a paste copy.
Okay, why?
Doesn't really say why she stole it initially, maybe dead, but the immediate problem was her friend was about to get the ring reset. The fake would be discovered. So she needed to swap the real diamond back without anyone knowing.
Tricky situation. How did Pyne approach this one? More theatrics.
Exactly. He used Claude Luttrell and Madeleine de Serres again, this time posing as glamorous exhibition dancers at a party hosted by the friend.
Okay.
The plan was stage a convenient power outage during their dance performance, and in the confusion and darkness, Claude would deftly swap the paste ring on the friend's finger back for the real diamond.
A classic switcheroo in the dark. Did it work?
Well, the swap happened. But this is where Pyne pulls the rug out. He reveals he knew more all along.
Oh, what did he know?
He knew the client wasn't really Daphne St. John. Her real name was Ernestine Richards, and she'd tried a similar jewelry scam years before. Pyne knew her history.
So he knew she was a thief.
And crucially, he reveals that Claude didn't swap the rings the way Ernestine thought. He didn't put the paste ring back on the friend. He put the original diamond back.
Wait, so Ernestine still had the fake, and the real one was back with its owner.
Exactly. Ernestine basically paid Pyne to undo her own theft without realizing it. She was furious, utterly duped.
And Pyne's reaction?
He refused to take her fee, point blank. Said his business guarantees happiness, and she was clearly not happy. He even quoted his beloved statistics at her. 87% of cases, dishonesty does not pay.
Wow. So he basically taught her a lesson, a very expensive, frustrating lesson.
Precisely. It shows Pyne had his own moral code, even if it seemed flexible at times. Sometimes the cure wasn't giving the client what they wanted, but delivering a dose of reality, a harsh truth. It's that contrast. Client wants a quick fix for bad behavior. Pyne imposes a kind of moral clarity.
Even if it makes the client angry. Interesting. Okay, next up. Have you got everything you want? Sounds ominous.
It involves Elsie Jeffries. She found a worrying note on her husband Edward's desk blotter, hinting at some secret.
And the secret was?
Edward was being blackmailed over something in his past, an indiscretion. And to pay the blackmailers, he was planning to fake the theft of Elsie's own valuable jewels.
Oh, messy. Involving his wife's jewels to pay off blackmail for his own past.
Very messy. Pyne gets involved somehow. Maybe Elsie consulted him. Anyway, he figures out the plan. The theft was supposed to happen on a train.
And Pyne
Intercepts it. The fake theft was actually being carried out by Edward's blackmailer and an accomplice. Pyne stops them, recovers the jewels, and then confronts Edward, tells him, I know everything.
Okay, so Edward's caught. What's Pyne's advice? Tell Elsie the truth.
Well, this is probably Pyne's most controversial cure. He tells Edward not to tell Elsie the whole truth.
No, what the?
He advises Edward to confess a modified truth, admit to having a shady past, a rake's past, he calls it.
Okay.
But, and this is the key, tell Elsie he gave it all up for her.
Yeah.
Because he loved her so much. Make her the reason for his supposed reformation.
So basically, lie strategically.
Exactly. Pyne's direct quote is pretty astonishing. It is a fundamental axiom of married life that you must lie to a woman. She likes it. Go and be forgiven, my boy, and live happily ever afterwards.
Wow. That's quite a statement, especially now.
Definitely problematic by today's standards. But in Pyne's framework,
Did it work?
according to the story, yes. Elsie got her jewels back, never knew about the fake theft or the real reason for the blackmail. Edward was free. And Elsie apparently loved the idea of having reformed a rake. She enthusiastically forgave him.
Happy ever after, built on a lie.
Essentially.
Essentially.
Which forces the question, doesn't it? Is a happy ever after, based on strategic deception, better than a potentially relationship-ending painful truth? And what does that say about Pyne's view of what makes relationships work? Or what he thinks women want?
Deeply uncomfortable, but fascinating. Okay, Pyne wasn't just about personal lives, though. He solved a murder. The Gate of Baghdad.
Yeah, this one feels different. Less about engineering happiness, more pure detection. Though maybe solving a murder brings its own kind of satisfaction or order.
Perhaps. What was the setup?
A group traveling together on a desert convoy, like an early tour group. A man is found dead. Initially, everyone assumes it was an accident, maybe heat stroke or a fall.
But Pyne suspected otherwise.
Well, he was part of the group, and there was also this rumor floating around that a missing financier, a guy named Samuel Long who was involved in some scandal, might be traveling with him incognito.
Okay, intrigue. How did Pyne crack it?
Pure observation and deduction. His statistical mind maybe applied to human details. He noticed tiny, seemingly irrelevant things.
Like what?
Like a bit of sand inside the dead man's sock, which didn't quite fit with how he was found. Overheard snippets of conversations, someone mentioning a confidence trick, someone else muttering about not wanting to let a pal down. Even the type of tie the victim wore, an Etonian tie.
An old school tie. How is that relevant?
It linked the victim to another passenger, squadron leader Loftus. Pyne deduced Loftus was actually the missing financier, Samuel Long, in disguise. And the victim, someone Long knew from his Eton school days, his fag. Basically a junior boy he likely bullied or used.
So Long killed him. Why?
Pyne figured it out. The victim must have recognized Long and was possibly threatening to expose him, so Long stabbed him. Pyne proved it wasn't an accident to silence him.
And Long.
Once exposed by Pyne's chain of deductions, Long took cyanide. Killed himself right there.
Grim. But it shows Pyne's skills were transferable.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That ability to observe and classify, as he might put it, wasn't just for unhappiness statistics. It worked for crime, too. It's a reminder that even when people try desperately to hide things, the little details, the subtle clues, they give the game away if you know how to read them.
His mind just worked differently. Okay, one last case. The House at Shiraz. This sounds exotic.
It is. It involves a woman named Muriel King. She was working as a paid companion to an elderly, wealthy lady, Lady Esther Carr, living out in Persia, modern-day Iran.
Okay. What was the problem?
Lady Esther had died. But Muriel believed she had accidentally caused the death. Maybe gave her the wrong medicine, something like that. She panicked.
Panicked how?
Instead of reporting the death, she started impersonating Lady Esther, living in isolation, terrified that if the truth came out, she'd be accused of murder. But she was desperately unhappy and longed to go home to England.
Trapped by her own fear. How did Pyne get involved? Out in Persia.
Well, Pyne happened to be traveling there, and he knew something about the Carr family, apparently. There was a history of insanity or mental instability. He saw Muriel, perhaps sensed something was off, or maybe she even responded to his famous ad somehow. The details are a bit hazy.
But he suspected she wasn't who she claimed to be.
Exactly. So he used this really clever psychological test. He started talking to her, not about high society or Persian life, but about really mundane, specific details of ordinary English life.
Like what?
Like specific London bus route numbers, names of cheap department stores back home, descriptions of typical suburban gardens, things the real aristocratic Lady Esther wouldn't know or care about, but that Muriel, the companion, would know intimately.
And her reactions gave her away.
Completely. Her emotional responses, her flicker of recognition or longing when he mentioned these simple things, betrayed her true identity.
So he confronted her.
Gently, yes. He confirmed she was Muriel King, not Lady Esther. And crucially, he reassured her she hadn't committed murder. Lady Esther's death was likely natural, or perhaps linked to that family history. Muriel had just succumbed to unreasoning fear.
And let that fear trap her into this elaborate lie.
Exactly. He helped her see that her own play acting, born out of terror, had become her prison.
Did he help her get home?
He did. He went with her to the British consul, helped her explain the whole situation, sort things out. And the story ends with the hope of her returning home, where apparently a young man she knew in Tehran, a pilot named Hirshalal, who loved the real Muriel King, was waiting for her.
A hopeful ending, finally. What's the takeaway there?
It really highlights how often we imprison ourselves, doesn't it? Not by actual bars, but by our own fears, our misinterpretations, the stories we tell ourselves. Pyne's role here was to offer understanding, cut through the fear, and give her the courage to face the truth and reclaim her life. The power of just understanding.
So we've really journeyed through the incredible, sometimes bizarre world of Mr. Parker Pyne, a man who promised happiness and remarkably seemed to deliver.
Yeah, using everything from fake adventures and strategic lies to, radical identity swaps. His approach was always unique, always tailored, often incredibly theatrical.
He wasn't just solving surface problems, was he? He was like a master psychologist, but with a flair for drama, willing to literally bend reality for his clients.
And what really stands out, looking back across all these cases, is how often the objective truth seemed almost secondary.
Secondary to the impact of the experience he created.
Exactly, which really makes you ponder, can happiness genuinely be engineered? Does it matter if the journey was real or fabricated? If the end result is genuine contentment? Does the experience create its own kind of truth?
It's a tricky philosophical question, and it leaves you, our listener, with a final, maybe provocative thought to chew on.
If you knew someone existed who could absolutely guarantee your happiness, but you also knew their methods involved elaborate deception, maybe even things you'd never fully understand or know about,
Would you still sign up? Would you pay the fee for guaranteed happiness, even if it was built on illusion?